Hi everybody, I'm Todd and I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to take a look at a 500 series solid state Pultec-Style EQ that I have in one of my racks. It's the Lindell Audio PEX-500 Vintage Edition. We'll do some technical and audio tests. Let's find out if it's something you might want to think about for your studio. Now, taking a look at the controls on the PEX-500 VIN, we have a low band section here which gives us boost and attenuation of up to 10 dBu and 3 bands, 30, 60, and 100 Hertz. Then we have a mid boost section with variable bandwidth that gives us a boost of up to 10 dBu. We have 3 bands, we have 6, 10, and 16 kilohertz, and again variable bandwidth. And finally we have the high attenuation section that gives us 10, 15, or 20K band and up to 10 dB of attenuation. We also have a bypass switch on the bottom. That's a hard bypass, so it's nice to know here that when we take it out of the circuit, it is in fact completely out of the circuit. Now we'll go ahead and do some audio tests. I've set up a few tracks here so we can try this on a few instruments. This I would call more of a specialty EQ. I wouldn't necessarily use it on all of these particular sources, but I'm just going to go through them so you can hear it. So first we'll start out with kick. And I've started out with a few settings kind of dialed in where I would have it, and then we'll adjust.
first into the fire. Watch the flames rise higher, love. We were burning so damn bright, just like a shooting star turns into dust. We went head first into the fire. Watch the flames rise higher, love. We were burning so damn bright, just like a shooting star turns into dust. We went head first into the fire. Watch the flames rise higher, love. We were burning so damn bright, just like a shooting star turns into dust. We went head first into the fire. Watch the flames rise higher, love. We were burning so damn bright, just like a shooting star turns into dust. Sadness I can't shake. Avoiding what's burning, walking the safer path. And the wheels, they just keep on turning. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. We struggled jaded in the cold every day.
I'm going to do a couple of technical tests. We'll start out here with self-noise. I have this unit installed in my Bento 8 Pro Pure. It's kind of a very mid-range rack, but it actually tends to be quite quiet. Everything's connected up here with Mogami cabling to my Orion 32 Plus Gen 3. So pretty quiet signal path overall for this to be in. Right now I have it on bypass, and you'll see that really at the highest end here, we've got about minus 116 dB at the very highest frequencies. And this little poking out here around 200 hertz is one of my lighting controllers. Obviously, I don't use that when I'm not shooting a video, so that's not really part of this unit. And otherwise, again, very, very low noise floor here. Now I'm going to kick this in because this is a hardware bypass, of course. And once I kick that in, what did we get? The noise moved up a little bit here, minus 114 dB. Again, still very low, certainly not going to be an issue on quieter parts of any track you want to use this on. And again, everything stays low all the way throughout. So overall, I'm going to say noise floor on this unit actually is very good. Now I've loaded up Plug-in Doctor here, and currently I have the Lindell on bypass, and you can see that it's pretty flat all the way across. Certainly, when we get to the very lowest frequencies, you're going to start to see some movement, but within the 20 to 20K range, looking pretty flat here. I'm going to go ahead and put the circuit in. Okay, so now we've done that, and we can see with it in, it actually has remained still quite flat. There's a little bit of a boost up in these top frequencies here. Certainly something, again, very small in terms of dB, but it is there. Now I'm going to go ahead and sweep through the band so you can see what happens. You see that Pultec look here with the boost followed by the cut. Switch up to the 60 hertz band. It's behaving much as I would expect for a Pultec design unit. 100 hertz band. I'll go ahead over to the high boost, starting at 6K here. And as I widen out the band, see that even though this is 6K, we can get down into some lower frequencies here. Noticeably, you know, we're having an impact here even above 500 hertz, and this is why, even though the bands here seem a little bit limited going with 6K, this can still be impactful on instruments like guitar and on a bass. It's going to have an impact in that area. And of course, we can go ahead, I'll switch up to the next band here. In K, you see it's going to be pretty much up there. It's a little below perhaps what is stated on the control, but and we're getting again what I would expect there. And finally the 16K band here, boosting that up, flatten it out, and you see again this is, you know, having an impact all the way down even to just above 2000 hertz. So again, can be a very broad range if we want to widen that out. And then finally the high cut, start at 10. You see again we're impacting a fairly wide range. Next band. And finally 20. So if we want to flatten it out, we can do that. And of course, if we attenuate more, we can roll off frequencies starting really around 7 kilohertz. So quite a bit of flexibility here, and it behaves pretty much as I would expect a Pultec to. Now, this is not a plug-in versus hardware video, but I know some of you will be interested if you're going to go with hardware instead of maybe a plug-in you already have or are thinking about getting. So to make this comparison as close as possible, I have the PEX-500 VIN, and I've chosen the Slate Digital SD-PE1. The reason I've chosen this Pultec plug-in is because it allows us to turn off the tube stage. 500 series Pultecs, even the current ones now, do not have tubes in them. Typically, you're going to have a solid state idea, just like the Lindell. And so by turning that off, we're going to get rid of that tube saturation that's simulated in the plug-in. Otherwise, I've set the controls the same to start with. I'm not a big believer in lining up the numbers on the dials. I think you tune by ear, but it'll give us a starting point. And the other thing to note here is that the Lindell has a band at 6 kilohertz here in the boost, whereas this plug-in gives me either 5 or 8. So I've set it at 5. It's not exactly the same, but as close as we can get. I have 2 tracks here, and I'm going to go back and forth on them. And I have decibel loaded up top and bottom. Top is the Lindell, bottom is the Slate Digital plugin.
Is it so
Now let me know what you think in the comments below. I kind of played with the settings a little bit on the plug-in to try and get them a little bit closer to each other. Again, having that slight difference in band in the middle, I just went ahead and widened out that band a bit on the plug-in. And otherwise, a little adjustment in the low frequency as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. To my ears, the Hardwired has a little more mid-forward, but also a little more spacious sound, if you will, even though these are mono tracks. But again, let me know what you think. I pulled the module out of my rack so we can have a look at the build quality. And as you can see here, the controls are mounted to the front plate. They're all very solid. No real issues. The pots are nice and smooth on here. One exception to the surface mount is going to be this bypass switch. It's mounted to the circuit board underneath, but I haven't had any issues. It seems very solid as well. Nice, good back plate on here. Good thick gauge. The unit feels really solid and durable. This, of course, is balanced input and output with transformers. It's got a 1731 op amp on here. Pretty simple circuit design as the solid-state Pultecs are. And overall, there's not really a whole lot to go wrong with this by the looks of it. So for the price, I think the build quality here is excellent. Now, as usual, I won't spend a lot of time on features and specs. There'll be links in the description below. A couple things to note here is this unit has plenty of headroom. And so whether you're working with an all analog or a hybrid situation, this is going to be really compatible with the gear you have. Another thing to note here is the 1731 op amp in this Vintage Edition that we're testing today is pin compatible with 990 as well as 2520 API op amps. So if you're the kind of person that likes to do some swapping, tinkering around with your gear, you can do that with this too. Overall, you get a lot here for the money. Now, I know this video is getting a bit long, but I try to provide as much information as possible for those of you seriously considering purchasing this EQ. And of course, I have the chapter markers below if you want to skip through. Now, this EQ is about $350 US at the time of recording, which means you get about 4 of them for the price of one original Pultec. Now, the original Pultec has more flexibility. It has more bands available on it, and so if that's important to you, that still may be a better choice. But with what's available on the Lindell unit, we can still get quite a range of frequencies available to adjust, as we saw in the band sweeps. So overall, I mean, this unit gives you quite a bit for the money. Now, I use this all the time, and I've had no issues with it. I found it to be really durable, really consistent. The pots are nice on it. The switches are nice on it. Yes, it's 500 series, so it's a little small. The spacing is what it is. But overall, I'm going to say this unit gives you a lot of value if you're looking for a passive EQ. And if you want to check out some of the other EQs I've reviewed, take a look at one of the videos on the screen. As always, of course, I appreciate you joining me. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.